Yeah, I was never good enough to ride the Tour de France, but I went through all that misery in order to find that out. And I think, especially when you're younger, you really are trying to find your own way in the world, and you're trying to prove yourself. And you have this thing about being immortal. You have this thing about being better than you think you are. You have this thing. I used to have this thing even when I was a kid, someone will spot me in the street and just pick me up. Did you ever have that?
No.
I did. Or like when I was playing football, I'd go, I'm shit at football. I think there'll be some guy here will spot me and fucking. Or I used to think I was good looking when I was a kid. I think someone will spot me and make me a model. Or, you know, I just used to have this kind of like thing in my head, you know. And even when I rode the bike, someone will spot me and put me on a team, even though I wasn't good enough. So you're always trying to like find your way and prove to everyone, the neighbours and the fucking thing, that you made it and you were special. But you don't think you're special yourself.
Yes. And
because you don't believe it, because that's why you're doing it every week in, way out, week in, week out, day in, day out, because you're trying to fucking show everybody, but they don't really understand what you're doing. And then when you stop it, you hate it because it didn't show everybody how brilliant you were. And that's and most guys are going to fail. Like there's only one guy can be the world champion.
Yes.
And it's not you.
No.
And there's only one guy can be in the UFC. It's a little easier now. There's so many guys in the UFC to get to it. It's still fucking hard. It's probably harder to get to the Tour de France now than when I was riding. There's more people riding, right? But you're gonna, when you stop, you're gonna hate that game because it played you. It played you rather than you play it.
Yes.
And that was the game that you tried to prove yourself and to prove to the world that you were great, and you failed. But in the meantime, if you don't reinvent yourself, if you don't go find something else, you'll still be that guy. I know guys that are still racing now. And they're still like, it's 25 years, 30 years since I rode a race. But I've done so much in the meantime, whereas if I hadn't cut that dry going, I need to find greatness in myself somewhere else. And realise that it wasn't the bike that was going to bring out the greatness in me. It was something else. So I got to find that. And now I have a great relationship with the bike, because it taught me a lot of things. It taught me how to suffer. It taught me how to it taught me structure. It taught me a game. It was a very complex game. It's not about just riding the bike. There's a lot of complexity going on. There's a lot of nuances going on. There's a whole pecking order involved. You come in at the bottom and you're on your way to the top. When you come in first and you're in a bunch of 200 guys and you're trying to move through the Ross Talton Tour of Ireland, and you're trying to move your way through little gaps in the road, and you say to someone coming through, they don't know that voice. They ain't moving out of the fucking way.
No.
But you're a godly fucking god in the yellow jersey, and people just get the fuck out of your way. You've earned it. You've earned it. You've earned the right to ask people to get out of your way. And that was one thing about cycling. Like, you have to fucking earn it and earn it hard. I remember, like, when you start getting up in races, you know, first few races as a kid, it was blasted out the back. It was just like, what the fuck is this? And then you might get an 8th or a 7th or a 6th, and then you were getting consistently placed, and then people were like, all right, John. You know what I mean? You became this kind of guy.
You earned it.
You earned it. Otherwise, like, you didn't get it. And that's what I learned out of the bike, that, like, earning it. And also, like, sacrifice yourself for somebody else. Like if someone's in the yellow jersey, you're on his team, if he crashes you in the bike, you do anything for him. And likewise, when you're in yellow, he'd do the same for you. And like the guys I rode with are still friends because the ego was cut away. When the shit's rolling down your leg and you don't give a fuck about it, snot's in your fucking face in the stage race because you got diarrhea, and you don't give a fuck about it. There's no ego in there, you know. And you see guys for who they truly are, and they're solid guys or they're not solid guys. And that's what one thing about cycling is, because it's hard and you really, really push yourself to the absolute limit. MMA's not like that.
No.
Because you're never really going to limits. Too many variables. You get knocked out, you get strangled out, but you're never on the limit.
No.
For long periods of time, day in, day out. It's look the same thing, and in that you really find who you are. And when I hit rock bottom, I will dig in, or I don't quit. I dig in. I don't quit.
I think the difference between MMA and cycling as well is it's more explosive. And I listen to guys talking about cardio and gas tanks. It's 5 fucking minutes. It's 5 fucking minutes around. You know what I mean? It's so different, but the immortal grain or the sameness in both sports is suffer. You have to. You have like, I heard Sean Kelly talking about it years ago, and he was talking about It's like tying a rope on a bull and getting 5 blokes to hang on to it, and it's dragging you up the street. Whoever lets go last wins, and that's it.
Yeah.
Whoever lets go last.
And I think like all the sports I've or things that I've got into are hard because there's no growth in comfort.
No.
And it's got to be difficult. There's got to be a struggle. There's got to be a space where you question yourself because life's going to get hard. And if you've never practiced in anything else, only easy. Like I look at the kids now, they're all fucked. They're fucked.
They're soft.
What is it?
Participation
Hard
trophies.
times create good men, isn't it?
Everyone wins.
Yeah.
Everyone wins.
You know that one?
Yes. Yeah.
You know, and we're getting to a stage where like, you know, it's we've got soft men being brought up like they're not even men yet, and I think we're on a cycle where if you have kids now, you want to bring up leaders. Like there's a jiu-jitsu place opened up the road from me, and he came down to see me, and he's like, I'm doing something different to you. I'm doing anti-bullying for kids, jiu-jitsu. And for me, if your kids are being bullied, you fucking failed.
Yeah.
And if your kids are being bullied because they're fat, out of shape, overweight, lazy fuckers, and then you're teaching them jiu-jitsu, they're going to get fucking bullied more.
Because they're not going to be able to move. They're going to be.
Plus, I learned some moves last week, and he tries it on the guy. We'll get the fuck out of here. You gotta
but that's a personal. I find the word now, even that word bullying.
It's bullshit.
It's like a double meaning.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
bullshit.
It's like, you're bullying. You're not being kind. Well,
no,
what's kind and what's the truth?
You need some hard love. You need some cunt in your life that gives you a hard time all your. Like everyone had them in school. There was always like the tough guy in the class. There was always the second in command of that. There was the funny guy. There was the fucking. And everyone had a little slot.
Yes.
You know, and you dealt with it.
But you see the way you said when you took up cycling, you would know older brother.
No.
So you Sheena next door.
Don't Sheena.
And Sheena wasn't babysitting you and minding you in the whole lot. And my brother, see, I came from a cycling family, so I never really had an issue with wearing like it because everyone did.
Did I tell you when I met your outfit?
No.
First time I ever met your outfit, Sean Dalal. I was in a junior race and it was in Carlow.
Right.
And I was in the break. And here's this owl lad. You know, to me he's an owl lad. I don't know what age he was. He was probably 45. He had a grey hair, but for me he was an outfit. I was like 16, you know. Yeah. And he's just like fucking outfit. You know, with his tan, you know. He's always fucking tan. He'd go away with Susan O'Mara.
George Hamilton.
Yeah. Handsome bad. Like charismatic dude, right? Best of gear. And I'm like, who the fuck is this guy in the break? Who's this owl lad? Because what happens was the vets
and the juniors went
together, right? So, and we're on the circuit. I'm in the break of about 8 lads. And there's this climb every lap. And then
is that up the butts?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
The Des Hanlon.
That's right. The Des Hanlon, right? So the lads in the fucking...
I actually won that race.
Did you?
Yeah, exactly. Or second, sorry.
In what, senior?
Yeah, senior.
Right, yeah. So he fucking... So you know it well. So
8 times up it.
That's right. So he wouldn't go through. He was sitting on, going ahead there, son. You know you're doing well. All like the encouragement, you're doing great on bollocks, you know what I mean? And then like he fucking won the race, like, you know what I mean? Just like took off, I blew a gasket, gone. You know, but just like crafty fox, like I learned a lot from that.
But do you see that, right?
Yeah.
And here's the lad taught me on training spins, Wicklow, Glencray. I be fucking trying to impress, as you were going, some outfit.
That's
trying
exactly
to impress, and you learn more from being. The lad said, and this is, I say this to me young fellas, I still say it to Max, I say it to Christian. The lad always reference Peter Doyle or Philip Cassidy.
Right.
He goes, they were 1200cc engines.
Yeah.
I was a 600.
Yeah.
I was never going to be a 1200.
Yeah.
We both have to go to the same place.
Yeah.
Be tactically aware.
Yeah.
and that's all you need to know about any sport.
That was my first education in being tactically aware, watching him do that to me, because it was just like, whatever, you know, what's he going to fucking do? And then sitting in the whole time, and then last lap gone.
And in Ireland, that was like sat on the whole lot. See, in Belgium, in France, in Denmark, in Switzerland, that's a given.
But I didn't see him.
I
didn't see him sitting.
I have 2 teammates behind coming across. Fuck it.
Yeah,
that's done. Whereas in Ireland, it's no, prove yourself the strongest man.
Yeah. No, it was great. Great education meeting him. And it was always the same. He'd show up. He'd have his little deck chair. He'd come down. He'd come back from fucking the Canaries.
Yeah.
and then he'd have the
and he's going there again.
Susan O'Mara be in the same team as him. She'd be the same. You know, fucking great. Great
Susan went to France and done well in France and raced in France for a number of years.
Yeah.
She's still about.
Because you don't like it's a long time since I said that name even, and I'm writing the book at the moment.
Right.
It's taken me too long, John. And I've put myself a time limit on it. It started off as an exercise. There's a very good friend of mine, Joe Hoey, and he always says, write your book. What the fuck? If I wrote a book, I wouldn't be able to publish it, if I was being honest.
Yes.
Because you're going to offend people and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
But it's not about publishing.
Yeah.
So it has to be written. So it's on A4. You write 2 pages or 3. I just write for an hour.
Right.
On paper. And I started at my earliest memory, and I just continued up to. At the moment, I'm on a bush taxi with Jules the doc in a Peugeot 504 with the double back seats, and me and him crammed in the front seat. That's where I'm at the moment. And it's gone from my earliest memory to there. And I'm gonna have to write 2 books because it's so fucking long at the moment that I'm gonna have to do the sloppy copy, then re-edit it, and I'm gonna stop until I get to Portugal, and from Portugal to now is another book, because that's been a fucking bizarre whirlwind of a fucking packed a lot into a few years, like 7 years on the road with Conor. It's been a mad experience. So that's going to be a second book, but the first book is like how I kind of got there, what all the stuff. There's a guy called Randy Pouch. Have you ever heard of him?
No.
I had it on a podcast. I had it on an iPad. Do you remember the iPads with the wheel?
Yeah.
Yes, I had it downloaded on that. And it was called The Last Lecture. He was a lecturer in a university, and they used to have this thing called the last lecture. So if you were to give a lecture, your last ever lecture, what would it be about?
Yeah.
It so happens that he's dying of pancreatic cancer, and it is his last lecture, right? And he talks about his boyhood dreams and how they came true and how they didn't come true. And he talks about lessons learned. Like, he had all these dreams that didn't really come true. It's like when I'm writing the book, I had all these dreams that didn't quite come true, but it's only when you start writing the book is where you realise where the lesson is, because you're coming with the wisdom of your age now to the guy who was 20 that's just young book fucking doesn't really get it or lost.
Yes.
Yeah, but what did you learn in the lesson? Like, every day when I wake up now, I meditate on yesterday. What was the lesson yesterday?
Yeah. And
I stay there till I find a lesson, because there has to be a lesson in every day. And if you don't, you just fucking, because you'll forget it, you know. And I'm started to look at my dreams as well and listen to what I'm hearing in my dreams, because I vivid dream every night. And I think that if you start to write a book just for your own exercise, it's almost like a therapy. Like, give an example. When I quit school at 14. I used to go to Drimnagh Castle, like 42 kids in a class. It wasn't for me.
Yeah.
And I never got bullied in school. Smallest kid in school by far, but it was fucking funny.
Yeah.
And I could make 42 kids laugh on a heartbeat. Like, the teacher say something, I'd fucking.
That's useful.
Fast. No one fucked with me.
That's useful.
The top guy in the class looked after me because I kept the entertainment going, and that was my little role.
Yeah.
But with the book, I left school. My father was a painter. His father was a painter. His father was a painter. My great grandfather started the first. It was like a society, a tanner and painting guild, and there's a thing in Audience House Museum with my family's name on it.
Right.
So it was kind of in my blood that I had to do it. All his brothers were painters. My mother's father was a painter. All her brothers were painters. Everyone was a painter and decorator.
Yeah.
So I had to do it. So I thought, I leave school at 16 after the intercert, or I go at the leaving cert. I'll still go and do the same job, because no one went to fucking college then.
No.
Right?
No.
So 14, didn't go back, got an apprenticeship with my uncle and Tommy, and he was a very old school dude. Had a fucking hairpiece, used to wear an apron, used to sing all day. I thought he was joking the first time. Oh, la, 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 in someone's house. I started laughing. I thought, no, we used to sing. It was just old school, you know. And very kind of like, you're doing that wrong, standing over you all day, just do that now, you know, just on me all day.
Yeah.
And I was a second year apprentice, and he had no work one January. January was always slack after Christmas.
Yes.
friend of the family's Tony Kelly. He was like an uncle to me. He would have been a painter and decorator. Like, used to work with me outfit. And rang up Tommy and said, can I get a lend of Colin for a couple of months? That's what I used to have. Around. And he was doing this factory called Cahill's Factory Printing Press in Eastwall.
Okay.
So we met him over there, rode my bike over from Crumlin, went in, and expecting the same treatment as I would have got off Tommy.
Yeah.
This big old fashioned factory with all 5 different unions, the women there doing the thing, all this kind of shite, you know. And he brings me in the paint and he goes, like, start on that wall and then just work your way back. I'll see you at the end of the week.
Right.
Now, I was 16, so at that time I was just like, fuck, probably looked about 12, you know, that kind of way. And I hadn't a clue, hadn't any interaction with adults in a corporation mentality type workspace, you know, that kind of, don't move that, that's his job, you know. I just wasn't used to any of that kind of stuff. And at the time it was just kind of like a terrifying experience where I had to go into the, you know, find out where to make a cup of tea, find out where, you know, on my own. But writing the book, I realised that was the first day I was ever independent in my life.
Yeah.
Domineering mother.
Yes.
Domineering boss, uncle.
Yeah.
And then the guy went, off you go.
Yeah.
And but at the time I didn't realise that. It's only with the wisdom I have now that I realised that's the first day that you had independence in your life. And that's the power of writing the book.
Yeah. That you can identify that.
You can identify it. So that goes, okay, well, let's see where that goes from. And that's really about, I'd recommend anyone to do that. I slot it in now, so I do me Kundalini yoga, some stretching, Bates method, swim, come up, have a protein shake, then I write and a coffee. I write for an hour, then I lift. So I do Olympic lifting in the morning, and that's my morning routine.
That's interesting.
I should need to get more in though. So, run nowadays, so life is like a toilet roll. Did you ever hear that one? So you know when you get a big brand new toilet roll, you pull on it and it hardly fucking moves, loads comes out, but then as you get closer to the edge, you put it in and things spins real fast. So time's going a lot faster now. I always look at like the week as like a running track, that kind of oval, but also life, you know, because it's cycles and you might have a few lives, you might have one life left, you might have whatever. But right now I'm at the back, the last corner, just ready to jostle for position to kick off the home straight and win the race.
Last 140.
Yeah, that last 200, and I'm jostling for position. Where most people in life, they get to 40, and they just quit. Yeah. Because no one gives a fuck whether you do it or not. You get a little belly and you become this fat middle-aged politician talk about what you did 20 years ago. Yeah. I'm not of that. I've been around for the last 7 years. I've been around guys that are like animals, best in their field, and it makes you have to adjust to that.
It rubs off.
It rubs off on you. So now it's just like I need to do more now than I was doing when I was 20 instead of less now, because one, I can.
Yes.
Two is I've been exposed to the best guys. I wear different hats. I used to be a painter and decorator. I'd walk into somebody's house, I'd be there for 2 weeks and be like, painter. Yeah. Wouldn't even know my fucking name, nails me road.
Yes.
Same guy goes into Lorenzo's office.
Yeah.
I've been allowed in spaces that most people never get to see. And it's a double-edged blade.
Yes.
And here's the double-edged blade is, you see what the best in the world at whatever field are, and then you realise you're as good as them. Now, and the reason why they're better is because they're fucking working harder than you. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Instead of like sitting there, look at him, he's doing all that envy and all that other shit that you're going to get, excuses. If I had that, I'd be doing this. No, dude. If you worked as hard as those cunts, you'd be able to do it. And if you're consistent, you put the work in, you show up, that's it. Like, find anyone that you aspire to be like, find out how much they do and fucking double it. Because you got to catch up. Yeah. It's no, like if he's here and you're doing the same amount, you ain't gonna catch it.
It's an hour's thing.
You gotta fucking, you know.
It's an hour's thing to give yourself a good show. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. There's tons of fuckers can work 70 hours a week. Yeah. It's not happening, bud. Yeah. You know. Yeah. Whereas there's a little bit of luck, a little bit of talent, a little bit of being a good person, good personality. There's a lot in the mix.
There
but
is, but
if you're not putting in the hours,
Yeah.
it's like backing 100 to 1.
yeah.
Like, put yourself up there at 7 to 8 favourite or
You
something.
need
know?
a little bit of luck, but also you gotta like have a little bit of vision, you know, and you gotta like you gotta be able to see things from both sides. If you're always seeing things through your own eyes, you're gonna always make mistakes. There was a guy that used to train me. He was a bit of a fucking dick, John Griffith, and not a bit of a dick, just a complete dick. I fucked him out at the gym, but I used to always ask him for his opinion because he didn't like me and I didn't like him.
Right.
Whereas everyone else is a fucking fanboy. I'd make a little film and I show it to someone, yeah, that's great, Colin. Yeah, Conor. You know, it's all like fantastic, great, you know. Yeah. Whereas I show it to him and you go, no, I don't like that. If you understand what I mean. So if he doesn't like it,
his opinion would spore you.
It's more valuable to me.
Yes.
Because he doesn't like me.
Yeah.
But if I got him to say he liked it, it's my phone or yours.
I'm all over the place here.
So if I got him to say he liked it, well then I genuinely would be more appreciative of that than someone who loves you. Yeah. And that's the thing about looking at things from other sides instead of always going to people that you know are fans of yours.
But also bringing it back to cycling or sport or them formative teenage years, it's you're putting yourself out into a space where it's like, get the fuck out of me way. You haven't earned it, and who's that Fred? Get out of me fucking way. You build up your repertoire, you put in your hours, people can see your skill, that you're a bit better, and they put trust in you. And it's everything is like that. Life is like that. Whether you're in business, whether you're in MMA, whether you're in swimmer, whether in put the time in, become somewhat decent, be a productive member or good teammate, and you'll get it back. Reputation, isn't it? Reputation. I mean, how many people have ever asked you for a CV? Do you know what? I've never fucking. I was only saying this a while ago. I've never handed in a CV anywhere ever. No. I was only fucking having that conversation with a bloke last week.
I've nothing. I've nothing to my name. Nothing. Zero.
If you asked me for a CV, I wouldn't know what to fucking do.
So I left school at 14, failed the fucking intercert. I went back to college at 1999 or something, 1998, and I studied traditional Chinese medicine. And then I went to China, worked in a hospital.
Oh, that's savage.
Because it was of my interest now. Like, if you ask an 18-year-old me what I want to do for the rest of my life, ask me now what I want to do for my life. I have fucking no idea. Because I don't know what's going on. I have no idea what's going on. I'm still trying to fucking figure that shit out. So, I know what I'm doing today, and I know I'm putting the work in, but, like, what I want to do, I just want to just do what I'm doing, but I don't know what I want to do, or, you know, that kind of way. I don't have a 5-year plan, I don't have a 2-year plan, I have a 1-year plan, you know. It's kind of, so to ask some 18-year-old that hasn't a fucking donkeys what's going on, what you want to do for the next 4 years. Geez, you're only an adult a minute. You know. And
I think that's our conditioning from society. It's like, and I notice us becoming more Americanized. It wasn't like that when you were about, or when I was in school. It's like, if you don't go to college, your life is somewhat over. No, it's fucking not.
No, it's not.
It's not. Like, my brother left school, same age as you. He left school at 16. He speaks 5 fucking languages. Lives in Switzerland. He's like, it's this.
If you don't fit in.
It's important. So some people go to college, and that's great if it's for you. But if you don't, it's not the end of the world. But we have this conditioning here that it's like, oh, you're not in college. Okay,
you haven't bought a gaff yet.
You know what I mean?
You haven't bought a gaff yet.
Or it's.
Just get a fucking round the world ticket and go meet other people with different opinions and listen to them. You know, and find a mentor. Like, what age were you when you found your first mentor?
I'd say about 25. About 25.
So,
you know,
up until
non-sporting, you know what I mean? About 25. A person that had fucking been exposed to life, burned by a torture, and was living a good life, and
saw the potential in you, and you saw what you could learn from them, because it's got to be a two-way street. I would have been, my first mentor would have been Jules, the doc, and I would have been about 19. So I met, like, he was this kind of like odd dude that raced, and Mohican haircut, and just a fucking punk, proper punk.
Yeah. He was, like, I remember looking at him in the Garristown Grand Prix and just going, like, he was so different.
So different. Didn't give a fuck anybody. Best guy in the country by far, and they wouldn't send him to the Olympics because they didn't like him.
Yes.
Banned twice.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? For cycling, they said he ran over a kid in a fucking race one time, and like with 200 meters to go, like with 400 quid on the fucking
and
line.
he didn't stop.
Didn't
for
stop.
The police. I remember all
banned
that.
him for a year, and he sued them, and he won.
Yeah.
You know, just didn't like him and just took it out on him. Just a punk that didn't fit in, but a godly cyclist. But he was my first mentor because I went to Guadeloupe with him, and he did everything completely different to me. Because like Crumlin grew up, all your mates met some board down the local pub, the Good Companions, or wherever the fuck you went to. Went out, had a day, 6 months later got engaged, buy a gaff around the corner so your folks can look after the kids, watch football. That's it.
Yeah.
And then all of a
rinse
sudden,
and repeat.
I rode him. I went skiing with him and John Sheen one winter. First time I kind of hung out with him, and he just did everything different, and to made me just like blew my mind, you know.
But you see, Richard, it's mad the way one person, like, he even changed the way my brother had a conversation with him, and this, I don't know Julian that well. I only know him from the outlet speaking about him and my brother, and he goes, Brian, I wouldn't say you're overweight, but you're well fed. Yeah. That's what Julian said to him. So, and he said he changed. He just asked him a few things, and he changed. Like, he was so far ahead when you think about which way Ireland was. Like, we thought everyone was fit, but they weren't really. No. But he was so far ahead in the way he approached cycling. Yeah. To everyone else. Yeah. Yeah. To everyone else.
Just did it his own way. Didn't mix with anyone. Didn't hang out with anyone. Just on his own little way, his own little thing. And he was the first. Like, he taught me how to train. He taught me how to eat. He taught me how to. I lived with him in Guadeloupe for like 3 months, and then we went to Africa together and did all that stuff together. Before that, when I was a kid, and this is probably stems back to you, all the adults I ever met were dog shit. Who looked after the football team? Dog shit. Who looked after the scouts? Dog shit. Who looked after you in school? Dog shit. Christian Brothers fucking feeling people up all fucking day. You know, if you got fucking Mullins in the prefab, you're down the back of the fucking prefab and you feel your balls, you know what I mean? But that was just accepted. That was just the way it was. Fucking glad I didn't get him. There's no big deal. Now it is, right? Yeah. But at the time it was just like dog shit. Like scouts. I was in a house one day painting a gaff, and there was a guy that used to look after us. He was scout leader, and he had a very unusual name. Painting this door in this house randomly 20 years later or whatever, and I used to put newspaper on the door that I get off the house, and then I put a sheet over it so it just wouldn't hit the floor, right? And you see this name, I think, I recognise that name, and it's a guy that was a scout leader with us, that was after getting jailed in London for kidnapping and raping the guy in the flat downstairs for 4 days.
Jesus Christ.
Do you know what I mean? So they were the guys that were in charge of you. Like complete and utter dog shit. Now it's a lot better now, there's vetting and things like that, but like, who's going to look after the under 12 team? I'm not. No. I'm never going to do it. Whereas, because I don't want that stigma of like having to have 2 people with 1 kid. I don't want to even enter that. And in Portugal we don't have any of that. Yeah. And like, a kid can come up to you and you can like, hug the kid. Whereas if a kid comes near me in the supermarket, like, get away. And it's almost like a too much of a reactionary thing. Like, whereas in Portugal we don't have any of that. Like Jules, the doc, right? They were doing medicine and they had to cover people that are paedophiles. They had to cover that as part of the human condition. Right? You just have to cover it because it's part of the human condition. And the thing on that is, the number has always been the same. It's never changed. There's no more boogeymen than there fucking ever was. No one's going to kidnap your kid. Your kid's a fucking arsehole. Do you know what I mean? You don't need to ferry him back to the school in a little fucking jeep every day. You're doing him a disservice. Like, I had a kid that trained with me for a while, and his mother would drive him to the gym and back in a town that there's no problems in. I said, look, he's 16, let him walk to the gym. He might get into a fight. You
want that.
You need that.
So he'll find out how to approach conflict resolution. And
when he's gonna get into a fight when he's 28?
Yeah.
You know, so like there was a lot of that in growing up in a place where you have to dodge bullets.
Anti-bullying is sometimes punching someone in the face.
Exactly that. You know what they say, fucking self-defense, learn to punch fucking hard. Jeff Thompson.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? That's it. That's self-defense. You know, know when to do it. But it's kind of like,
this all happened in the 90s.
Yeah.
And like, I've read books. When you're going to be a parent, you read all these books. It's like the paedophile is the scoutmaster, is Uncle Mick, is somebody you know. It's not some random
the
cunt.
Rapist is not some guy jumping out of a fucking bush. It's someone you had a relationship or you know. That's it.
Yeah.
And that's where it's gone all screw with. So everybody is targeted as he's talking to my kid, he's the paedophile. No, just talking to a kid. And I like that in Portugal, where if I have a kids class, I don't have to go and say to somebody, I need to be vetted. Do you understand what I mean? Whereas, like, you know, and it's great to have that freedom there. When I come back here, it's like I say, it's just like, no, I'm just like, you know, do you know? And then the kids aren't getting the people that they should get to look after them. Like, I wouldn't get involved with kids here. I just wouldn't do it. It'd be on my conscience of like fucking, of what if something happens or some kid says something about me, and you know yourself, kids are lawyers sometimes as well. Do you know what I mean? So I just wouldn't get involved. Whereas in Portugal, I'm gonna do stuff with in Lagos there's an orphanage,
right?
Still, because people are poor, and they can't afford their kids, and I'm gonna go down and do a jiu-jitsu class with them. And from the teenage years, I'd start with maybe 12 to 15, something like that. And if you find one little potential kid that changes his life, great, because they don't really have anything. They feel abandoned. They feel like they've been given up, but the parents are doing their best. If you know what I mean, they're only doing their best. They give you a chance of having a life by you're being fed every fucking day. I'll give you an example of I had this kid, how just doing the right thing by people comes into play. So a guy that used to train with me, and a Dutch guy, and he said, hey, this is a kid staying next door to me. He's like from Germany, juvenile delinquent. He's staying with two women that live next door. Could I bring him down to the gym? He's a bit of an angry kid, 15, 16. So yeah, bring him down. And in Germany, instead of putting him in juvenile, they send him to Portugal.
Okay.
So they usually stick them out in the sticks where they can't do any fucking damage. You know what I mean? So let them fucking run around there, and then they'll have people look after them that are counsellors. Or now, Johnny, you shouldn't really do that. That doesn't work.
No.
Okay. But I tell you what does work: violence with love.
Yeah.
So he comes down to me, all little tough kid, comes down, and we do jiu-jitsu. We show him, he's in the class, and I roll him. So I strangle him every fucking 30 seconds, and he gets more and more pissed off. And I'm just laughing at him.
Yeah.
So he comes back again.
Yeah.
Because you're either going to go fuck off or you're going to come back.
Yeah.
Comes back, and the next time is boxing. I spar him. I'm just tipping him. But he's swinging for the fucking... But it's with love.
Yes.
I'm not beating him up,
Yeah.
but he's getting it.
Yeah.
And he comes back, and then he realises, I can't fight this. I need to learn this. And he comes back, and he comes back, and he comes back. Then he starts to make friends. Then he starts getting into photography. So I start showing him how to do photography. He goes back to Germany, gets a job, buys a drone, gets really into drones. And comes back training again. And I said to him, how much are you worth? He's like, oh, my father gives me €100 every month. And I said, that's not the question. What is your worth? What do you mean? How much is it for you to be here? German government pay $5,000 a month.
Fuck.
So you're worth $5,000 and you're getting 100. You're the one being fucked. Not the other way around. You're walking in the little juvenile delinquent angry kid, but you're the one losing. You're getting fucked in the ass, not them.
Yeah.
They're all laughing.
Yeah.
The house you're living in, they're getting paid every fucking month.
Yes.
They're dropping you down another fucking payment. Drop you anywhere you want. Yeah, cash. You're the cash cow, dude. You're losing. You're always going to lose.
Yeah.
And he dropped. And then the last time I saw him was he was going back. He started getting into like filmmaking, and I met him for dinner before he went. He was like, he's a man now. He's like 18, and I gave him a camera, a spare camera.
Yeah.
About $3,000 worth.
Yeah.
And I said, I'm giving you this because it's going to take you a year to be able to buy one.
Yeah.
And in that year, you're going to learn it. And then you're going to come back in a year when you've earned it, and you're going to give it back to me. And I want to see your work.
Savage.
Every week.
Savage.
Right? So, tell his work every week. One day, this old lad knocks on the door. Who's in charge here? I said, what do you mean? Who's in charge here? I said, who runs this place? Well, what do you mean runs the place? You know, because I'm always a little like that. I said, look, yeah. I said, I'm Manu's father. I said, I'd just like to shake your hand. You saved my son's life.
Savage.
And that was with tough love.
Yeah.
Whereas you tell him not to do it, but you showing him with love, through violence, but also through honesty, and showing him actually, here's the game you're playing. You ain't gonna do it. You need to change the game.
But you're not changing yourself because he's a poor.
No.
It's like if I'm coming over to your gym, we're going to roll, and you're going to do that to me. Yeah. But it's friendship. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
It's not angry.
And I find the influence of all these therapists. It's all, he's from a disadvantage, and it's all
that.
mamby-pamby.
We're all victims.
Boys need men. Yeah. They need tough love sometimes. Yeah. You know what I mean? They need, and they get the nurture from their mother. Yeah. But if there's only the mother, they get too much. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? So they need, and you spoke about earlier on about that 18, 15 to, you're supposed to be dog shit. Yeah. Not dog shit in that way. You're supposed to prove yourself because you've done nothing.
First year apprentice. Yeah. What do you do? Get bullied bullied. No.
No, you can't do that.
No, I can't. But like, it's just like, go off, find a glass hammer, and the guy knows you're looking for a glass hammer, a skirting ladder, you know, send him off for stupid shit. So he realises, actually, I need to either be a little love for me or else throw something back at it.
And you have to prove yourself. Like what we spoke about earlier on. I remember, like, I felt like I'd not made it, but you know, I'm fucking elbows out, fucking 2k from the line, and someone goes, go on lad, get in there, and it's like, he's letting me in there because he knows I'm fast, but he trusts me not to do something stupid, and there's a lot to be said from that.
Huge, and you'll never forget that.
Or on a mat, going, I'll roll with you. People asking to roll with you instead of, that fella's a spastic. He'll hit you with an elbow or a knee, or it's trust.
It's like Paddy's mass on a Sunday. They're all grateful that you roll with them. Yes. Thanks very much for the roll. So fucking who says that to you? Yeah. And it's nice because that's what it is. You're giving yourself up to somebody in a sense where they're not gonna like just try and fucking kill you or smash you or sweat in your eyeballs. Do you know what I mean? Like, get off me. What do you mean get off me? We're not rolling. You're just lying on me for the last 4 minutes. I'm not interested in that. Yeah. What am I learning here? That you're a fat cunt?
Yeah. No, 100%. It's that trust, and you're supposed to, like that young fella, you're a delinquent, you're a shitbag, and you have to learn not to be a shitbag. And this tough love that your dad obviously never gave you, or your mother gave you too much love, told you were amazing, and off you go out into the world to be a fuckhead, you know.
You got in with the wrong crowd. Yes. You got in with the wrong crowd. He started doing drugs at a very early age, and then they just kind of like gave up on him because they didn't know how to do it. It's like, how can you tell your kids not to do drugs if you haven't done drugs?
Yes. Yeah.
You can't, because you don't understand it. You have to do all the drugs in order to tell your kids not to do drugs or allow them to do drugs, because like, why would you tell them not to do it? Because then how are they meant to fucking tell their kids? You got to experience the whole thing. I want to do heroin. I want to experience everything that life has to offer. The ups, the downs. I've got a lot in, but I've still got more to do. I want to have it all, because then I can. It's like, I've been plant-based for the last 2 months. I'm the most anti-vegan you've ever met in your fucking life. Do you know what I mean? I just don't tolerate any of that bullshit that goes along with that thing. But I made a conscious.
I'm eating salads because I want to make a difference to the world.
Yeah, fuck all that. Be an animal. Be an animal.
I just come here. I drink fresh cream in my coffee. I eat steak. I fucking eat as local as I can. But I'm not going to shove it down your throat. I post bits and pieces. But please, I don't need to know how good a person you are.
Well, how can I have an opinion if I haven't done it? How can I say this is a load of bullshit if I haven't done it for at least a month, right? At least, it's like the cold water. It's not for me. And I'll tell you why it's not. It's not for everybody.
It's not.
I study Chinese medicine, and there's yin and there's yang. Some people are more yang. Some people are more yin. Yin is more feminine, nurturing. Some people are more yang, wired, fucking headaches, fucking lunatics.
Yang.
Cold water. I'm a little bit of a lizard in the morning. I have to wear lots of clothes. And you put me in that, I'm done for the rest of the day. And I can't do hot and cold. I pass out. I was in the Guza sauna there the other day. Happened to be in the PI in Vegas. We're doing hot and cold with Edo. So Edo fucking, of course, gets a wet towel, spins it around all the walls. I went in the sauna, like roasting, then into this plunge pool for 5 minutes and back out. And then I was in the sauna. I could feel my throat, esophagus getting cold, and thinking, oh man, I'm going to pass out. Because the blood is rushing from the extremities to keep the heart going. It pulls it from the brain, you just pass out. And it happened last week. I had a cold shower, sauna, cold shower. And then, like,
some people pass out.
I'm going to pass out. So I had to go back into the sauna to stay awake. So it's not for me. So cold, if I get in that now, and I'd done it for a month to see what would happen. I got asthma after like 20 days.
Delal is like that. He doesn't. He just no.
So heat. That's why he goes to the sunshine.
Like, no.
That's why I live in a warm country. So heat does me better than cold. So I have a sauna in the gym that I use every night. My own personal sauna that nobody knows I have. Conor gave it to me.
Savage.
Yeah, the lads don't even know. It's in the women's changing rooms. So
I was in the Goose's sauna there with Max about 4 weeks ago, and I'm a mad cunt. I like freezing. I like off the scale warm. But me and Max got in, and Max lied down. I fucking singed his hair on the wood. His hair all singed.
Was it? Brilliant.
It's like we were having this little game, see how it gets out for us.
Yeah, it's always competitive, isn't it? Like I actually had a sauna on Friday night with the Goose.
Aye, savage.
Just him.
Love him.
Because every time I go, there's always someone there. But to sit down and listen to him, and he's just one of those characters that's like a gem, you know, like experienced the worst in the world. Like I can't even understand what he's experienced in life, and to make your way back out of it and change your whole life around. Like there's a lot of lessons to be learned from him, you know. And I was saying, like, you can readdress the karma. He says, I don't have enough in this life to do. I'll have to do another couple of lives for you know. And he's just a good all round soul, you know. That circumstance, wrong crowd. Happened to me once.
Happened to me a lot.
Wrong crowd. And it can go either way. Like you can.
But it's you see what we're speaking about. I didn't realise I was a mad cunt. And when you don't realise you're a mad cunt, you're kind of out trying to find your way. Whereas now I realise I'm a mad cunt. I know what makes me tick, and I know the people I have to stay away from and the things I have to do. Do you know what I mean? Whereas
routine,
you have to find that
routine. And you have to push into the edges, because if you don't, and like I say, if your kids don't do drugs, or you've never done drugs, how are you meant to wind them in a certain way? I
say to my kids all the time, lads, drugs won't kill you.
No.
Drugs will kill you. And it's like, if they've tried drugs, I heard that, if they try drugs and go, he's talking shit because they didn't kill me. You know, it's about, they mightn't bring you to nice places and be mixing with nice people. You know, you won't be taking loads of drugs and illegal street drugs, and then go and saying, do you know what I want to do today? I want to go out and create in the world, and I want to work 60 hours and I want to put a bit of time into me craft. You'll all be thinking about what the world owes you, and fucking everyone's a cunt, and fucking I'm not paying that cunt us €400. You know, so
it's a funny old one, but I think it's like I say, I want to experience all that life has to offer, the ups and the downs. And when the downs come, just stay there. Don't be running away from it.
No.
Don't be like that's where the growth is. Like when shit hits the fan and you realise like you can stay in it, and you can suffer in the pain and the misery and the fucking, because it's gonna come. It's gonna come. Same with the ups, they're gonna come too. But if you're in a spot where you're struggling now, just sit in it. Don't run away from it.
And we live in a time now where everyone has to be happy. The sun is gonna rise. And the moon is gonna come out. Sadness is gonna come. Happiness is gonna come. That's the range of emotions. That's what happens. It doesn't all have to be fucking rainbows, and life isn't going to be a bed of roses, but it's not going to be a bed of thorns either.
No.
And you have to get used to. I've a bit of life experience, and so do you. When the old fog comes in and the clouds come in and things come in like that, I know just to be still that it's going to pass. And I don't need to be rushing and grabbing things and trying to. It's just sometimes about sitting still, taking a bit of stock, and just wait until it moves off.
It will move on. Like what's the only only thing that changes in the universe is change, and that's it. Everything changes. Have you heard of a guy called David Hawkins?
No.
Power versus Force.
No.
Very good book about frequency.
Okay.
So I would say, you know, someone's on the same frequency as me or whatever, but he talks about like frequency and how you know, because everything has a frequency. That's how people, you know, scream when the glass breaks. Everything's vibrating at some sort of thing. So he had this thing where he has this table of frequency, the top being enlightenment, God, Buddha, all that stuff, and the bottom being low frequency emotion, shame, guilt, envy, fear, pride.
Yes.
Is an emotion. Is a low frequency emotion, and it's only when you get to the level of courage is where flow happens, and it's only when you to get above that is even acceptance, love, and unconditional love, not emotional love. People have all these wrong, because most people will never get out of the emotional aspects of life. They'll stay in emotion. Shame on you. Shame is the lowest level of fucking frequency there is, like really at the bottom. And if you're ashamed, if you're shameful, you need to start moving up. Then you're going to go through fear. You've got up, but it's like most suicides are when people are like super depressed. They don't have the will or the planning to get out of bed and plan it. You need to be getting better.
Yes.
So when you get out of shame, you're into fear, even though you don't want to be in fear. You have to get past that in order to get the courage, in order to make the decision to stand up for yourself, to realise where you are, to stand up and say, here I am, take me or leave me, you know, expose, take off the fucking mask, be your true self. And his book is phenomenal, because I think a lot of people get lost in emotional love-hate. So they fall in love with somebody and then they hate them. That fucking laugh, if I hear that one more time, well, before they used to love to laugh, that's not love, it's a low frequency emotion. Love is a higher energy, much higher energy. It's unconditional, like a mother for a son. He could kill 1 million people and be in jail and she'd still love him.
Yes.
It has no opposite.
Yes.
All it has is forgiveness. And to be at that level of love in the world where you forgive and you don't resent and you don't hate, it is where I'm looking to get from. And every now and then I dip back into that emotional world, but I'm looking for courage in order to move on. And that's the biggest thing. In the last year I've had a shitload of fucking things go on, and in that was the lesson I learned in the last year, was to have the courage to stand up and just fucking be yourself, rather than being who you think everybody wants you to be, and recognising what love actually is. Is it a lower level emotion or is it a high level frequency? It's unconditional. Whatever the condition, it's still in a loving way. And I think that's what I aspire to be now, more so than what do you want to be as a doing something. That's just fucking killing time. Whereas I'm looking to head towards enlightenment. I'm looking for that, but that's maybe not this lifetime, maybe not the next lifetime, whenever that comes. But that's what I aspire to do, and I do all the physical things in order to get away from the emotional stuff, to sit at home moping, or to sit at home feeling, you know, fear or feeling envy or feeling all those kind of low level shit, where you get out and you focus on the physical aspect of things, where you don't, like, you swim, you're not thinking about anything in the water, so you're not falling back into those emotions, and then you come back and then you get these little epiphanies when you come out and you're walking down the road there. I saw you walking down where you're just like in this little zone where this little, that's what it is. Whereas if you're not pushing yourself on the physical into those little corners, you're not going to grow. And they'll come to you, it'll just be like, that's what it is, and then you'll start to change the way you're doing things. And I think to get out of that emotional world, physical stuff is very important, and hard physical stuff is much more important. Things where not just going for a walk around the block. Go do some intervals, get a fucking hill, try kill yourself. Do you know what I mean? You won't die.
No, you won't.
Do you know, get into the water and you're fucking with your balls out with fucking everyone around. Do that, you won't die. What's going to happen to you?
No.
Everyone's calling you today.
You won't.
No. So that's
that is me
going
for a ring of me.
Yeah.
Because we're going to jiu-jitsu.
Jiu-jitsu. Well, I missed mass today for you.
We're going to, there's Northside BJJ in Coolock there at 1 o'clock.
Northside BJJ.
It's East Coast. No, gi. I don't like wearing the gi. No gay.
I only wear it in the winter because it's too hot in Portugal. And then I've got Jeff Knight, who's a black belt from Henzo's. Did you meet Jeff?
Yeah, I met Jeff a number of times.
Jeff's a bit of a character.
He's a cool fella.
He is.
He's on our frequency.
He's on the frequency, all right. Yeah. He rings me and then he rings me and then I like, what do you even ring me for? You know when you're hanging up, what was that all about? Like, but he's just a great guy to have in my place where he's just into jiu-jitsu. I'm not. I like jiu-jitsu.
I like it.
I'm not into it.
I like it.
Yeah.
I don't think about it every waking second, but I've tons of things. Sea swimming, jiu-jitsu, hiking. Yeah. I've loads of shit. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. That I like doing.
Like that, Kieran Davern, I feel is one of the best teachers out there in jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, no, he's very good.
I'm going to go down and see him Tuesday.
Savage.
He's come over with me a good few times now, and you know, getting to travel a lot and seeing all different guys, his systems resonate with me.
Yeah.
And I don't have systems.